So did. It's the 441 gang. It's the 441 Martians. How we in here? How we in here? How we coming in here? Huh? Is this? We doing the subtle body today, y'all. Peace, love, and all that goodness. Y'all let the family know we live. Y'all let the family know we got a playback. Send them the playback. Send them the, the highlight. Talk a little bit about the Schumann resonance. Talking about some solar waves. We only got 2 chapters on the docket today. But we're gonna finish this little section up, and this is gonna be consistent on learning, but we're gonna finish this up this week for the moment. And I want to start dealing with the inner child. And you hear a lot of people speak on shadow work. And to be honest, when you hear the word shadow work, it's kind of scary. So let's reframe this model as a inner child working. And it's very fun to heal the inner child in you. Sometimes it can be scary to get through the traumas to even open that door to free your inner child. But that's what we're going to try to tackle next week, y'all. You know what I mean? We're just going through topics that, as I recognize that the crow call needs. You know what I mean? Right now I'm solo and I'm just calling out the energy. And very soon we'll be Voltron. We'll be, I'm in the background already dealing with a lot of like-minded individuals. And it's a beautiful blessing because we're here in this space where I personally have not been able to blend with like-minded individuals and to actually get into a space where tribe members are showing up. It's a very glorious moment because I went through it yesterday. I posted the playback from the crow call, but we talked about Mark, and we talked about the Bible, and we talked about how Jesus came out of the wilderness 40 days and 40 nights. He was being ministered to, and he was in the wilderness with the animals. So in nature, he was getting alignment. The alignment was putting him into the proper perspective for ascension. So that exact moment that we're at now is where we're at here, right here. You're going from Cancer season into Leo season. That's that kill your ego and let's move forward. Because if you bring your ego into Leo season, Leo begins to get a little egregious. Leo gets a little excessive. Leo gets a little extra, the 3 E's, if you will. But you don't want to go into delusions of grandeur, which is the Cancerian motto. That's the energy that you're dealing with. Delusions of grandeur coming out of the disillusionment of what you thought may have been reality because the reality was fuzzy or too far away, or the perspective was angled in the wrong, because perception is different than perspective. You know what I mean? Perspective is different from each other, but the perception is the total view of this jar right here. So if my perspective is from this side, I don't even know what this is. So the perception is skewed, so I have disillusionment. But if I have a reflection or a tribe member on this side and they're reflecting back to me what's on the opposite end, now my perspective gets clearer and my perception becomes well-versed. So it's a big difference between having a full perspective on something and then seeing something from your perception. Because your perception is your view, and if you don't get up and walk around and do the survey, like a survey would do on a yard, like, or on a land mass where they're going to have to quantify who lives here, where, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. You have to go into that space. You have to actually physically visit the area. You have to observe, take some measurements, take some notes, and then you're able to acquiesce a true dimension on its worth, on what's the resources, you know, what surveys typically do. So we're just trying to get our perception in a clear developmental space, because the dog star rising is here. And I was just talking to one of my nines all the way in Panama. Shout out to you, Culture Free. But it's going to come to a space where the spiritual war is going to turn physical. So what we're dealing with right now is the spiritual side of this epidemic. You know what I mean? It's been a long spiritual war, and the World War III is spiritual, y'all. If you do not know, now you know. And this is why we're having spiritual crow calls, because the war room is here. Regardless if they censor us or whatever, we're on live right now. Now we may start talking a bunch of and they're going to disconnect me, but regardless, this transmission is flowing, and we're going to continue to unite the masses and develop the energy, because at some level, the fight that is spiritual will turn physical, because most of the fight will be won in the spiritual, in the 5D, because most people are not spiritually strong. But there are evildoers, there are agents that have a strong spiritual backbone and have a very, very conscious awareness of what it is to be energetically sound. They just are in a opposite team. So when we get to this level, it's going to be important, because we're going to switch from spiritual war and it's going to go back to a physical war. So Rod Hayes talks about this as well, but me and my nine was talking about this. So all my chosen individuals, it's time to go work out. All my chosen individuals, it's time to go train. All my chosen individuals, it's time to get active. This is the last year that will really be affected on a spiritual basis. Because if you notice, every summer they attack, every winter they attack. They're attacking all around the world, but summer and winter are important because Cancer and Capricorn is the axis that this matrix is ruled on. And if you notice that the axis is shifting, I'm not sure astrologically where that what that's taking us to. I feel like it's taking us to Aquarius, but we'll do some research and figure that out. The shift is taking us away from that Saturnian, Cancerian lock, and the lock, or as far as the illusion, is not so tainted in these two sectors. So illusions, disillusionment is going away because the full perspective is going on Capricorn. You're going to physically view the full perspective Capricorn, and allow the illusion or disillusionment to wipe itself away, and then to now hone in on the true value of what is taking place in front of your eyes. Follow what I'm saying? So let's tap in with this subtle body. We're reading from the subtle body. I'm on chapter 19, and I'm going to do 20. And they're not too long, but these are kind of important, because we were speaking about in some of the last builds on how the etheric plane and the etheric resonance is important, because this is what affects the physical. And the 3D is affected by the 5D. So that's why I said right now we're in spiritual war. Most of the fight will be spiritual, but there will be a force of nature that we're going to have to take down on the physical sector. So Star Wars is going to turn into WWF. You feel me? So let's read from chapter 19, 2 unified field theories. So there are two theories that seek to unify science and spirituality. to encompass all scientific knowledge and explain reality. These are based on concepts related to fields and field dynamics. So the unified field theory is one. The unified field theory seeks to present a single field that marries fundamental forces and elementary particles according to quantum physics. As we saw in part 1, there are 4 fundamental forces: electromagnetic, strong and weak nuclear forces, and gravity. The elementary particles number in the thousands and include the subatomic particles. Albert Einstein conceived the term unified field theory in his attempt to unify his general theory of relativity and electromagnetism. So basically how electromagnetism weighs in with gravity, and also the negative or actually the strong and weak forces of nuclear pool. So elementary particles are the basic components of quantum field theory or quantum mechanics. This is a vast area of study that is revealing quirky facts of subatomic or smaller than atomic or atom reality, which includes the following: mass can change to energy and energy can change to mass. The photon, the fundamental unit of light, has wave and particle capabilities. Matter, not just light, has wave capabilities. For every here and now particle, there is an antiparticle. An electron and its positron will destroy each other if they are in the same spot at the same time. So one spot can only be occupied by one energy at a time. There are virtual particles, those that do not exist or have permanent existence except when they are observed or acted upon. Some physicists believe that they pop in and out of existence, and when here play a vital role in the functioning or creation of natural fundamental forces, atomic shifts, and vacuum states. A single electron or proton can move in 2 or more directions at the same time. No 2 electrons can move with the same motion at the same time. Having once connected 2 particles or wave particles can continue to affect each other no matter where they are. The same particle can move or spin in 2 different directions at the same time. Entropy, previously defined as lost energy, can also be defined as hidden energy, which, if concealed in an anti-world or path not taken in reality, could conceivably be rediscovered. These are important notes, y'all. Run this back if y'all feel intrigued, man, because this subtle body, if you don't have it, this is an important book for the healing journey. Whereas Einstein asserted that mass cannot move faster than the speed of light, research has shown that post-light can move faster than the speed of light under certain conditions. Post-light has intervals between emissions, whereas continual or regular light operates as a steady beam of energy. The spaces between light flashes enable light to essentially slow down into matter. So Einstein sounds like he's talking about the Shango lightning, the Uranian lightning, the Pikachu lightning, the lightning frequency that comes in forms of thunderstorms, and it is calibrating the Earth's core. So many say that it is honing from the inside out, and this is electromagnetic frequency being sent out, pulsing out from the core. Sounds cool to me. I don't know. We'll find out when we get to the next phase of this living existence. So the unified field theory would have to explain how forces between objects are transmitted through the intermediary entities or fields. Part of the answer is this: strong nuclear forces, electromagnetic forces, weak nuclear forces, gravitational force. So I'm going to go through the definition. Oh, and quantum foam. I think that's a part of it too. But let's get into all of these forces that have a effect on the intermediary entities. Strong nuclear force. It holds together quarks, which move slower than the speed of light, to create neutrons and protons. The exchange particle is the gluon. Gluon? I don't know what that is, y'all. But actually it's telling you what it is. I never heard of that. The exchange particle is the gluon. So the neutrons and the protons are moving at a slow pace, calibrating basically stability. So the connection in between is a gluon, and that makes sense, I guess, because it's basically gluing itself together and is coming to create. So the electromagnetic force acts on electrically charged particles and uses the photon for exchanges. The weak nuclear force, responsible for radioactivity and acts on electrons, neutrinos, and quarks, uses the W boson, an elementary particle. So there's photon particles. That's an electromagnetic force. And let's read that again. Electromagnetic force acts on electrically charged particles and uses the photons for exchange. So the electromagnetic force is basically exchanging energy signatures so that it can respond. So these are response and relate frequencies, right? So let's go back to the weak nuclear force. This is responsible for radioactivity and acts on electrons, neutrinos, and quarks. Uses the W boson and an elementary particle. Gravitational force is also included. Let's get the definition. Acts on all particles that have mass via the gravitation. So that's just basically explaining gravitational pull. What's up, Bob? You right in Grandma's pond. Grandma must have been trying to say hey to you. Go get it. Tell Grandma you say hey when you get over there. You never met her in your real life, but you know her in the spirit. So let's keep reading, y'all. Scientists have not been able to incorporate gravity into their explanations, nor explain dark matter, a non-luminous matter that occupies about 6 times more mass than does luminous light matter. Therefore, this is not truly unifying a truly unifying theory, though the following hypothesis might add to the understanding of this energy. Quantum foam, rolling space-time at the smallest level, creating a foamy appearance that explains some inconsistencies in time and space. String theory alters the definition of particles from a point to isoscellating strings or loops. The isolation create mass and what finally looks like a particle. These loops might interconnect various dimensions. The closer you get to an electrical charge, the bigger a field grows to the point of infinity. So when you get out of the infinity loop, you're now in an infinity of creation. Black holes and virtual particles. Black holes supposedly hold a never-release energy. However, physicist Stephen Hawking showed that theoretically a black hole could release energy to the point of eventually disappearing. The only explanation is the existence of virtual particles. If an electron and positron, a positron is an electron's antiparticle, so the opposite. If electron and positron come into existence, they annihilate each other because they cancel each other out, if you will. If born at the boundary between the inner and outer regions of the black hole, however, one of the particles is pulled into the hole and the other flies free. So let's read that again. If born at the boundary between the inner and outer regions of the black hole, however, one of the particles is pulled into the hole and the other flies free. So these black holes seem to be sinkholes of energy. And the only way to interact with the energy is to exchange or to be stuck into the energy. So this is, if you will, how energy gets stuck in a sunken place. I would refer to the sunken place as black holes. And this can be, energy is everywhere. Energy is infinite. So everywhere you go, even a man-made device, especially a conduit of electricity, this is all energy. So the energy, like I was saying yesterday, it's an inner chi. It's a chi from the actual wavelengths, the strong nuclear force. That's where that comes from, that energy. So the strong nuclear force creates neutrons and protons. So they exchange a particle called a gluon, and now they're stable. They're slow. So the slow ability landing, you can just put it in the water over there, turn the water on, or dump it in that water. So you have to realize what these are identifying, y'all. My real nines, y'all play this back, do some research on your own, get this book, and you'll see it for yourself. So I'm just introducing this information to you and trying to relate it. And, you know, as it strikes your attention, it inspires you to go deeper. You go do your own research. You never take my word for it. It's like the Reading Rainbow dude. Don't take my word for it. I forgot how he says it, but I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna make it like a advertisement out of it, or a meme or something. So let's read about the 0-point field theory. The 0-point field theory also seeks to explain energy and the universe. The living being, a biophoton organism, is surrounded in a field of biophotonic light upon which it depends. This field is a near vacuum, although it is a field of quantum particles and waves, including virtual or transitory particles. This sea of potential is susceptible to intention, responding first through the subtle fields of reality and finally in the physical realms. So that was a mouthful, y'all. But basically that's saying that your intentions create these fields of existence and further affect the fields more into eternal being. You feel me? So eternal Earth sends out frequencies. There's gravitational pulls. There's positive and negative pulls. There's, the strong nuclear force. There's all of these forces that are, put it in the sunlight, maybe to do it quicker. Right where the sun is shining, bro. So all these forces are quantifying the energy that we deal with on a day-to-day. You follow what I'm saying? You can just probably roll it in the grass. Like, I'll roll it that way. Just let it dry. So this energy is all wrapped up and dealt with on a energetic frequency, because on the cover you see a lot of different points in the body, and the body has flow points, the body has hole points, the body has black hole points, if you will, and you have to energize your body in a certain frequency so that it is moving. The movement is important. You know what I mean? It's important to be in movement, in motion. So 0-point field theory, let's continue. Essentially, we are frozen light or biophoton machines. Through the 0-point field, we are interconnected in a non-local reality that permeates the cosmos. A non-local reality is one that is unmediated, unmitigated, and immediate. This means that events can occur through unknown forces, that the strength of an event is not dependent upon proximity, and that changes can occur instantly despite the distance. Many physicians have concluded that reality is indeed non-local. This is important. In nature, as two particles once in contact can be separate and yet interact even at great distances. And this is how telepathy works. This is how communication works on a secular level. And when I say secular, I meant to say cellular. On a cellular level. All right, let's make sure we're on point. But the cells have proton, neutron energy, and then the electron is the creation, the negative side of it. So we are maintaining these atoms, and these atoms are keeping a certain frequency. Use that, it's fine. The atoms are maintaining a certain frequency, and the frequency is calibrating your being. So if you are having a difficult time on Earth, let's say that it is a tower moment, and let's say that it is the God consciousness working on getting you into alignment. So let's hope and pray that your karmic energy has not affected you to the point where you want to quit life. As I know how karma can kick our tail. We come into this life with existing karma. So we already have to clear old karma. But now we have to find a way to walk in, let these atoms frequent in a being where you're not creating new karma. You're clearing space. The energetic signatures is clearing space for new resonance. You feel me? That's how Ascension Protocol works, y'all. Feel me? Studies of molecular and electrical systems discussed throughout this section show that our interactive capabilities extend way beyond our nervous system, and that we are capable of processing intuitive, conscious, and subconscious information at every level. 3 God, 6 God, 9 God. Landon, you hear that bird? I think that's a blue jay. That bird is going crazy. I can hear you. The basic premise of the theory starts with the idea of 0 point, the point at which atomic motion stops. We cannot quite get there, but we can come close, as was revealed in an experiment conducted by researchers including Leen Vestergaard, who slowed light to a standstill at 0 velocity or speed, meaning that the light vanished. Its imprint, however, did not. The disappeared light regenerated when stimulated by yet another light. See if we can finish this quantum theory out. Quantum theory explains why background radiation continued to emanate even when the light was standing still. The particles were not moving directionally, but they could flash in and out existence. Where did they go? In and out of 0 point field, which can store what is not here until we need it again. The fact that we are made of light, that the body itself is a biophoton organism, has been well established by several researchers, including Fritz Albert Pope, and is reported by Lynn McTaggart in her book, The Field. One of the Pope's findings was that DNA itself is a storehouse of light, or biophoton emissions. It seems that the more photons an organism's DNA emits, the higher it may stand on the evolutionary scale. That's heavy, y'all. The 0 point field plays a central role in originating originating and responding to this internal light. If a body of photons internalizes too much or too little light from the field, disease results. Do you hear me? So, if the energy is not moving, dis-ease will result, family. So if you have a physical dis-ease, one of the best things to do is move energy. So what does that mean? Physically move your body, and the food and the drink and the herbs and the things that you're putting into your body is important to be effective. You sending new movement, new life, fresh food, breathing cellular organisms into your body to recalibrate your body. So that's how we remove disease. That's theory. Dr. Sebi has a whole lot of information on that. A lot of our new Sebi babies, they have a whole lot of information on that. I'm not here to co-sign and say that everything that they say is right and exact, but Yaki Awakening is good. My guy, Hadil, I forgot his full name, man. His name is so heavy, but he got the one eye copper, the small Scorpio guy. He be teaching on herbs and stuff. Check him out, man. I'm gonna find his name. I can't figure out his name right now, but he's fire. But this is basically saying the 0-point field plays central role on the existence of how you are affected on an energetic level. So let's read about the natural field, and then that'll be the lesson, y'all. This is chapter 20 in this subtle body, page 105, family. All my nines, you get your books out. We're on page 105. No cap though, check me out. So the natural fields, these are the fields related to the earth. They are all found in nature. In the earth, the sun, or the cosmos. So let's read it again. They are all found in nature, these fields. They're in the earth, the sun, or cosmos. Some are present in our bodies, and they all affect our health. These are subdivided according to vertical and subtle. Vertical or physical measurable natural fields, however, may also run at subtle vibrations. Many of these natural fields are also called geopathic fields in that they are generated by or affect the earth. So vertical, which is a measurable or natural field. There are many natural fields. We have already described the electromagnetic field, consisting of electrical and magnetic fields, and introduced electromagnetic radiation. In addition to the members of the electromagnetic group, we have already discussed radio waves, microwaves, infrared radiations, visible light, ultraviolet radiation, X-rays, and gamma rays. And that's the full scale of frequency. And we have a visible light spectrum right in the center of that, and that's the rainbow. That's the true pride, y'all. Don't let gay pride fool you. And even if you are gay, don't let gay pride fool you. This is very important, y'all. Don't let gay pride fool you. I love y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The future is not gay pride. I'm telling you. On everything I love. No judgment. You know what I mean? Because I know how that's a touchy topic, touchy scenario, touchy situation. But the subtle body explains to you truth in its exactitude, and when you pay attention to natural alignment, the sectors will show you your assignment. The observation will deem the true alignment to you, right? Right, Nine? So, detected in the 1960s, T-rays, as they are called, are not yet fully understood. As the natural state, they are absorbed by the earth. Scientists have recently started creating these rays through high temperature subconducting crystals that display a unique effect when an external voltage is applied. A current flows back and forth between the stacks of this crystal at a frequency proportional to that of the voltage. T-rays are being analyzed for use in medical imaging, security, chemical research, astronomy, telecommunications, and quality control. There are 4 additional kinds of bioenergetically active fields present in the Earth's natural environment. Schumann waves. This is good, y'all. We're going to talk about the Schumann waves because this is happening now. It's important. First identified by Professor W.O. Schumann in 1952. Pretty sure he took it from an Aboriginal, but he has the credit in his book. These are naturally occurring electromagnetic waves that oscillate between the Earth and certain atmospheric layers. The waves are long with an extremely low frequency and are considered beneficial. NASA has performed extensive studies on these waves, which are part of the Earth's natural electromagnetic radiation. They apparently run at the same frequency as the main control centers of the human brain, the hippocampus, and the hypothalamus. That's heavy, y'all. I'm going to read that again. They apparently run at the same frequency as the main control centers of the human brain, the hippocampus, and the hypothalamus. It's all up in here, up in that penile area. That penile area is the same frequency as the Schumann resonance, or the Schumann waves, if you will. They also have the same frequencies as do our brain waves and follow a comparable daily pattern. Therefore, they help regulate the body's circadian rhythm or eternal clock. NASA's astronauts separated from these waves felt distressed and disoriented as the waves established sleep patterns and endocrine functions. NASA now installs equipment aboard spaceships to mimic Schumann waves. Jet lag also seems linked to insufficient exposure to these waves. The farther from the Earth's surface, the weaker the waves are. So the Schumann waves is important. I'm going to read this little tab that talks about the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is one of the several natural Earth-based magnetic fields. These affect the brain through the magnetite located near the pituitary gland, as well as through the pineal gland, which in turn influences the perineal system and other parts of the body. The first waveform shown here is the Schumann oscillation. The second is the EEG image of the alpha brain state. So let's just check that out. Y'all can see that right there. You feel me? Schumann oscillation. So it looks like a earthquake. You know when they have those little rigid little scales on the meter? Looks like an earthquake. It don't look like our regular natural flow of energy, right? So that's important because that energy is a shock. That energy is it's a jolt to the system. It's like a you know what I mean, when they yell clear and put that joint on your chest or their chest and they go boom, clear, and it shakes them up. That's kind of like a Schumann in resonance, if you will. So we're dealing with a lot of that with this sunlight energy. You're seeing volcanoes, you're seeing the animals act weird, you're seeing people fall out, you're seeing whole communities, cultures in certain areas die off. All this stuff is connected to the Schumann resonance and the rebirth of the primordial energy of Tiamat, the rebirth of the primordial energy of Turtle Island. We're going back to the old ways, y'all. So this is why we're going through this subtle body book, because it's important to the today time. You're not going to find this in the Bible. You feel me? But we keep our Bible too, though. You know what I mean? We keep it all together. We was looking at both of these books, the Book of the Dead too. We keep books out just to talk to the basics. You know what I mean? Because you got to go get to the basics to get to the depth. Geomagnetic waves. These are 64 elements in the Earth's crust. Each of these trace elements operates at an independent vibratory level and influences the Earth's magnetic field. A geomagnetic wave is actually the sum of each of these elemental vibrations. Interestingly and importantly, the red blood corpuscle, how do I say that? Corpuscle, the red blood corpuscle contain nearly the same makeup as the Earth's crust in relation to these vital minerals, and some researchers suggest that the overall wave influences our cardiovascular system. So what is it saying? Geomagnetic waves affect us on a cellular level as well, because the blood in our body has the same mineral makeup as the Earth's crust. So the blood that protects us, so that's why they say the blood of Jesus, and we're not trying to be Christian, but we're trying to break down the codes in these Christian religions, just as other places. I grew up in a Christian space, so it's for me to break the codes down in the Bible. You know what I mean? Other people may need the Book of the Dead, and I like the Book of the Dead, but I'm not as versed in the Book of the Dead than I am with the Bible. But I'm knowing that the Book of the Dead comes before the Bible. I digress though. So your crust, Earth's crust protects the Earth's inner. The blood in your body protects you. So if you are diluting and polluting, you will show up with disease because the energy is starting to get stagnant in your body. So it's important to drink, eat things that harness purification of the blood, or even get outside into alignment of the sun, light, the air's movement, the water's touch, the earth's stability, all that goodness. And you'll find the actual alignment comes to you. Solar waves. Solar waves emanate from the sun. Human health relies upon receiving, we just said this, right? Receiving the correct types of sunlight in the right amounts. Sunlight affects the human endocrine system, metabolism, and human interactions with the geomagnetic frequencies. So all these frequencies play a critical role. They're not haphazardly happening, if you will. The lack of sunlight greatly affects the pineal gland. Family, go get some sunlight right now. Leading to depression, stress, and trouble sleeping, as well as disturbances in human circadian rhythms, our body's natural cycle. It's important, y'all. Sound waves. So we like to play with sound waves because we talk, we listen to music, all that good stuff. So this is important as well. Sound is vibratory energy composed of timbre, tone and quality, silence, and noise, traveling at 770 miles per hour at sea level. Depending on resistant factors such as wind, humans can only hear sound that vibrates at between 20 to 20,000 hertz. When it is perceived through the ear as electrochemical impulses that are sent to the brain, it can also be perceived through the skin and conducted through bone and other tissue. Sound is much slower than light, which travels at 186,000 miles per second. However, sound functions as a field with particle and wave qualities and also vibrates. In fact, all matter vibrates, and therefore many researchers agree that all matter makes sound. So that's why they say there's really only one sense, y'all. Sound. And however you want to look at that, the sound is how you are affected. Even down to the touch, because, to the touch, the taste, all these things have frequencies. What's up, bro? That's fine. Can you see it? Yeah, go ahead. What did I just say, y'all? I don't know, but oh, that reading get me tired, family. I guess my Schumann resonance is telling me to go back to sleep. I be staying up late at night, and then I be getting myself up too early. I need to do better. We got 2 more pages, y'all. We're gonna finish this up. Between vertical and subtle, what are these waves? There are waves that. There goes the deer. Peace, y'all. Y'all know the deer are ancestors, right? They're ancestral. They're very native. That's the same one I seen running down the street before I started the live. I'll show you that. I'll show you that. Scalar waves fall into this category. I can't hear you, buddy. You gotta come out here. Hold on, y'all. What's up? Excuse me? Hold on, y'all. I can't hear you, son. All right. You know the boys, they need something all the time. They need something. Papa's here though. I'm here. So we was talking about the scalar waves. Let's get into the scalar waves. Scalar waves were discovered by physicist Nikola Tesla around 1900 through experiments that revealed an unknown wave that runs at 1.5 times the speed of light. They are considered longitudinal standing waves that are able to tunnel through matter. Essentially, a standing wave is not absorbed by its surroundings, while other waves are. Scalar standing waves are able to operate in such a way that their resonating frequencies do not absorb or link except through particular circumstances. And this is in parentheses, such as through certain spins or vectoring frequencies. Some scientists consider them the basis of both the classical and quantum fields, and therefore the originating fields of the universe. That's pretty important, right? Because if you ask me, these waves are the 369 waves, right? And we talk a lot about that on my channel. We're in frequency of that. We understand the 3 God, 6 God, 9 God, and we understand energy And I'm going to give you the example of a 3-God, Nature Boy. Nature Boy was a 3-God. Drake is a 6-God. Kendrick Lamar is a 9-God. Hate it or love it. Now these are energetic frequencies and they exist in their space. So you notice how Nature Boy is locked up because his 3-God energy was kind of like Little Boy. So 3-God is the beginning. It's the raw essence of something. So like I say in my other videos, we talk about this all the time. The 3 is the Empress energy. You're learning how to get to know people. People are learning how to get to know you. So the 6-God energy is 6, and that's universal consciousness of love. So you're beginning to love others. You're beginning to love your partner, your opposite sex partner on a frequency that can only resonate in a specific manner, because this is why you can't have 2 same-sex partners that create universal love, because it's like the Neo and Matrix movie, Neo and Trinity in the Matrix movie. They too were being used as Tesla coils to power up the entire Matrix system. So scalar waves, Nikola Tesla found this out in the 1900s. 369, these are wave frequencies or resonances to exist upon, and until you have mastered all 3 of these, you're going to have a particular problem moving energy, and you may get stagnant, stuck in prison like Nature Boy. We digress though. Natural subtle fields. There are many natural subtle fields related to the earth, besides electromagnetic fields and sounds that operate on the periphery of science. Here are just a few. You got ley lines, important, because this is in the Earth's core. Ley lines are energy lines on or in the Earth that are electromagnetic in nature. They compare, hold up, let me finish reading, y'all. They compare to the meridians or nadis in the body. There are ley lines in the Earth, but also on other celestial bodies, such as the moon, planets, and stars. The Earth is most affected by the gravitational energies of the ley lines on the heavenly bodies closest to Earth. Come on, man. Ley lines are dotted with points that are similar to the acupoints of the chakras. These might be electrical, magnetic, or electromagnetic. The magnetic nature of certain of these points might account for research that has shown that some points along the ley lines possess higher magnetic energies than the average geomagnetic intensity. So this is why certain places in the world are off limits. Grand Canyon, different nature parks. If it's a state park, I guarantee there's a ley line frequency on it, and they don't want you there at night, or they don't want you there without being monitored. So this is like a quick little look on how ley lines operate. So these ley lines connect, and then they have different grid frequencies. It is noteworthy that sacred centers, holy places, and worship sites are often located along the ley lines. These might be comparable to the earth lines described in cultures around the world, including the song lines of the Australian Aborigines, invisible lines they use to trek across the land. And we do know in Australia is where a lot of the Moorish I wanted to say energies, but I was about to say intergalactic travelers is what they are. Okay, all right. So we do know that most of the intergalactic travelers showed up in Australia first. Australia, the Americas, and then the the northern area of Africa where Egypt is, where current day Egypt, that was ancient Kemet. So these areas are where our intergalactic dimensional hoppers, that's where we placed ourselves, because we know where the ley lines and the importance of energy is. And the people that are telling us to go back to Africa where it's just red clay, nah, we not going for it. That's a trick, that's a psyop, and that's propaganda. We not from Africa, family. We not from Africa. So we got to make sure we're paying attention to the energetic frequency. The ley lines will tell you everything that you have to dealing with energy. So let's get into the Hartmann grid. Dr. Ernest Hartmann of Germany discovered this electromagnetic grid after World War II using a Geiger-Müller counter, a surveyor, right? What we were talking about in the beginning of the show. It consists of a network of north, south, and east-west lines that crisscross over the Earth. He found that the grid lines showed higher counts of radiation than did the land in between. This count increased before an earthquake and was more concentrated around pyramids and famous cathedrals. Come on, man. Y'all hear me? The energy in the center of these famous buildings, however, was free from radioactivity. In comparison with ley lines, the Hartmann lines are closer together and aligned with more regularity. They are 6 to 10 feet apart, and each line is about 12 inches wide. The width of the line broadens during a full moon, with sunspot activity and drastic changes in the weather. They appear as structured radiation that arises vertically from the ground. Come on, family. Come on, man. Y'all hear me? The Binker cubicle system. Let's talk about that real quick. Named after Austrian researcher another Australian, Anton Binker, the Binker cubicle system is composed of energy lines about 33 feet apart. They look like square blocks stacked atop each other. They are magnetically aligned north-south and east-west. These blocks emanate radioactive walls of energy about 1 meter in diameter and are polarized alternatively as positive and negative. They are oriented toward the Earth's pole. This system interpenetrates the Hartmann grid. So this is another concept, and concepts are not false. Some people will call them false because they don't hold a solid science to it, and you're not able to see it with your own two eyes right here. You have to feel it with your third eye, your macabre. And people will say that this is pseudo, but concepts give you ideals to hold on to understand the way that energy works, right? The Curry grid. The Curry grid differs from the Hartmann grid and was ascertained by Doctors Whitman and Manfred Curry from Germany. It runs diagonal to the Hartmann grid and also carries electromagnetic energy. The lines are 11.5 feet apart, but do not widen during the moon cycles, as other grid systems do. They want me to verify that I'm still here, y'all. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Black lines. Black lines appear to be naturally produced, localized lines similar to the Sha or deadly energy lines in Feng Shui. In Feng Shui, the Sha represents the inversion of Qi or life energy, and its presence reduces one's vital energy. That's important. You don't want the Sha around. In the Chinese system, Sha is promoted by artificial energy sources, including railroad and telephone lines, and objects built with straight or rectangular lines, such as buildings. That's powerful, y'all. These are powerful movements right here. We're gonna have to come back to these and build on these again, but we're getting introduced because that's basically saying that this square building that they put you in, these square-shaped, rectangular-shaped homes and rooms that you exist in, they are draining your energy. Sha is the inversion of chi. Chi is not built in these spaces because the energy does not flow, the feng shui does not flow. So sooner or later, you're going to see me, and I'm going to be living in one of them circular houses. The house going to be circular as a mug. It's going to be everything circular in there. I'm going to be an igloo. Take me to Alaska. Anyway, it's the last section right here. The vivaxis, subtle energy between the human and the earth. There is a special energetic link between the human and the earth that connects the fields of both, called the vivaxis. It is described by Judy Jacka, ND, in her book, The Vivaxis Connection. According to Jacka, the vivaxis is actually a point or a sphere of energy, inner chi, shaped like a fetus, located in the earth where the mother spent the last few weeks of pregnancy. Yeah, definitely the lotus flower bomb. This point links the developing being with the earth, no matter how far apart they are. Electromagnetic signature. There we go. It operates like an invisible two-way umbilical cord throughout one's life, and it's formed from magnetic waves. Throughout our entire life, the incoming flow travels vertically to a certain altitude and then horizontally to enter our left foot. Enter the left foot, right? Okay. Before traveling vertically up our left leg, the outgoing energy flows out of our right hand back to the vivaxis. According to the Jacka, disturbance in the geographic area of the vivaxis can create chaos or problems within one's body. Vivaxis energy are considered subtle physical phenomena. They interconnect with the chakras and etheric energy bodies, but also all the physical and subtle grid lines and energies of the earth. Planetary and earth energies influence the body through the vivaxis, even determining the flow of prana through the nadis. Woo! Hey, look, this today was heavy. Chapter 19 and 20 was lit, y'all. I don't think y'all know what's going on. Actually, if you're listening to this right now, I know you know what's going on. Actually, the ones that's listening to this probably don't. The ones that's not listening to this, they know what's going on. So like I said, I don't think you know what's going on. If you're listening to this, get in tune, y'all. This frequency is for you and I. We are here to envelop new territory. So that vivaxis talk is basically saying that energy can come up this foot right here, but it comes out this hand. So it crosses over here at the center point, which is your navel, your third chakra, which is your solar plexus chakra. So the energy crosses over there. So if you are not in healthy vibration and alignment with the solar activation, the moon cycles, the planetary alignments, then your energy can be haphazardly exchanging through your avatar. So that is why it is important to meditate. It's not just cliche. It is important to balance the prana that you're taking in and to allow the chi to build. It's very, very subtle science, but the subtle science is where you will find the important shifts. Follow what I'm saying? So we're going to get this day going today, y'all. It's a beautiful day out here. I'm gonna do something with the gang. Let my nines walk out in the streets. Let the dogs walk. You feel me? See what they want to do. Y'all be peace. I'm going to go get my rings in case I got a Stano snapping too. a Slim Jim. Yo, Spirit funny, man. My Spirit team is hilarious. Y'all be thinking all this charisma be me. Man, my Spirit team be putting this game on me, man. So it's free game, man. Like my homegirl Sissy Slay, she a tarot reader on YouTube, Spiritual Advisory. She cool as a mug from Georgia. I be watching her joint. She be putting some prophetic messages in the world. Them spiritual attacks be real, and she be calling them out. Shuffling the cards. But it is what it is today, y'all. Hopefully y'all got something powerful out of this today, because today was a very important connection to how these subtle energies affect us and how we can begin to align ourselves in this alignment of energy. Because energy, basically what we're doing on this earth is searching for ways to quantify, which is maximize our energetic frequency, exalt the sunlight so that the sun is shining and feeding others. So some others may need this shine. So a lot of the chosen, we're being asked, just like I said yesterday, we're asked to step back out. You know what I mean? Cancer season is over. Let's come out of our shell and let's enjoy the energy of Leo. Leo energy is prideful love. So we're only prideful in a heart chakra sense. So we're not going to hinder ourselves with foolish interpretations. And we've cleared that up in this Cancer energy. So those who may need to go directly to jail and not skip go, they'll be dealt with as well. They'll be exiting stage left like Uncle Sam did in that Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl. That was a powerful statement. Kendrick Lamar sent Uncle Sam stage left. Stage left is the end of the show for them. So you won't see them come back out on stage no more. Shout out to Rod Hayes, the Sick Eight. He broke that down in a few of his breakdowns. So we just sending the energy out, y'all. I'm gone, but I'll be back. You know what I mean? Eat the thumbs up. Keep the ether in your frequency. Enjoy the prana. Build the chi. Peace, y'all. Love.